So, can we please talk about UFC 265 coming up this weekend? Man, I have been waiting for this event for a hot minute. I'm going to spend about 15 minutes or so going through some of the fights where I've seen a couple of betting lines that I think I want to take advantage of to put some terrible bets down, because, oh God, do I put some terrible bets down. And that's part of the fun, isn't it? You know, you get to laugh at myself a little bit for some of my terrible predictions. They're not all terrible, but you know, most of them are, full disclosure. If you're new to this show, welcome. Basically, this is the Burt Locker Fights in 15, where I will be running you through a lot of my the fights that I think there are some good value on, some betting lines in 15 minutes or less. And I am so looking forward to this card. So let's start off with the Fight Pass Prelim headliner. I think it's the Fight Pass Prelim headliner, or it's the Prelim headliner. Either way, it's Raphael Fiziev. I am a big fan of this dude. Raphael Fiziev is taking on Bobby Green, and it's a 155-pound lightweight division. I've been looking forward to Raphael Fiziev coming back because he's just so good. He is such a high-level kickboxer. You look at his kickboxing record. He's like 47-8. He's 10-1 in MMA. He lost to what was his name? Magomed Mustafayev, I think. It was a spinning back kick. It was a really great shot from Magomed. So to be fair, like I said, he got caught with a really great shot from another very good fighter. But since then, Fiziev has looked absolutely outstanding. Bobby Green is slightly taller, but the reach is roughly the same. You know, it doesn't mean that... obviously, Fiziev is the favourite here. Now, don't get me wrong, I like Bobby Green. No, he is game. He's as game as anybody. And his boxing is very good. His boxing is deceptively good. Lando Venata found that out. But he does tend to stand and trade with people. And honestly, I think that if Bobby Green decides to try and stand and trade with Raphael Fiziev, this is going to be a really bad night for Bobby Green. And that is what I'm leaning towards. That's why my pick of the week is Raphael Fiziev by knockout. I just feel like Green's style, coupled with Fiziev's explosive striking, just opens this up for a highlight reel KO. Make sure you watch this fight. No, if nothing else, to see my prediction go tragically wrong. I don't think it will. Raphael Fiziev is bloody good. And I think, yeah, highlight reel knockout. That is going on the bet slip. 2.75, so you're getting slightly better than even money on that. And that is probably the best you're going to get on something that I think is a really good possibility. I mean, don't get me wrong, it could go to a decision. Bobby Green is pretty tough, but I just feel like if he's going to stand in front of Fiziev for 3 5-minute rounds, which I think is likely given Bobby Green's style, it's going to be a highlight reel KO. But we'll see. Either way, I'm really pumped to see Fiziev back in there. And I'm pumped to see Green in there as well, to be fair. He's a fun fighter. He's fun to watch. He talks a lot of trash whilst he's in the octagon. And it's a spectacle. It's fun to see. So moving on, we have then got Song Yadong taking on Kenney, 135-pounders, the bantamweights. Now, I am surprised. Quelle surprise, as I say in France. Old Cyril Gunn, the main event. A little shout out. So, I am surprised that Song Yadong is the underdog in this one. It's only very slight, but there is still value there taking Song Yadong as an underdog because, in my opinion, he is the better fighter here. He has far more power. Right, now, against Vera and Stamen, you could see the difference in the shots. Like, Song Yadong hits really hard, and he's just technically very good in every single area. Now, don't get me wrong, Kenney is a pretty decent fighter himself. Now, he had a decent showing against Cruz, close fight, but I do not see him being better than Song Yadong in any area at all. And, you know, I don't know, he's just a bit of a goofball, isn't he? He's sitting there goofing around at the press conference doing that cuckoo thing. He's like his best buddies with Sean O'Malley, so I don't know, I find his whole shtick a little dumb, a little kind of like, he's a little like jock, like frat boy type kind of vibe off him, which I don't find very appealing at all, which is another reason I'm hoping the Song Yadong beats the crap out of him. I think there's a good chance of it. Don't get me wrong, I know that Kenney is a very talented fighter, but no, it doesn't mean I have to like him. I find him very annoying. I think that he just kind of hangs out with Sean O'Malley and it's just like, yeah, look, you know, doing stupid, like, because that whole, like, little cuckoo thing at the press conference, it was just kind of like, just just stupid, dumb class clown shit. It's like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what other people are trying to answer questions and all you can hear is him going, cuckoo. I don't know if it was like a bet or something that he had going with somebody, but I don't know. Just seemed stupid to me. But either way, you're getting great odds on the knockout here for Song Yudong. Song Yudong, he does have power, but this one is going to a decision, more than likely. Bantamweights usually do, and neither man make a habit of getting stopped. There's only one stoppage loss between them. Yudong got knocked out by some Russian in Russia back early on in his career. So I don't think that either one of these guys are getting stopped, but I do think that Song Yudong takes the decision at 3.10. That is a terrible bet. Going on the bet slip. Lovely stuff. Then we have got the welterweights. This is a really good fight, actually. Michael Chiesa against Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque. Sorry, I always put an N in there for some reason. There's no N in there. Get the N out, you know? Anyway, this is an interesting matchup. Luque, he looked really good against Woodley, don't get me wrong. But I would say that also, the flip side is, that was the best we've seen Woodley look in quite a while. I mean, he had Luque rocked at one point. He really had him hurt. And you know what? Nobody else has been rocked by Woodley in some time, and I'd say that's almost a knock on, almost like how people knock Leon Edwards for getting clipped once against Nate Diaz. I would say you've got to take that into account. He did get clipped against Tyron Woodley. He left himself open, and where there is openings, there are opportunities for others as well. And Luque is very good. Don't get me wrong. His striking is excellent. He's just so explosive, so dangerous, right? But I think, honestly, Chiesa's style is absolute kryptonite for a guy like Luque, who relies on that explosive power, because that explosive power is only good for so long. And Chiesa's general style is very good at sapping that explosivity out of his opponents. Chiesa, he went, since he's gone to welterweight, he's looked so impressive, and not in the same like way where it's like, you know, he's just going through like finishing everybody, but he's methodical. He grinds on people. He destroys their will to win, and you see it leaving people, and I love that style. Randy Couture, shout out the natural Randy Couture, who I've got on my desk over here. He was the king of doing that. Watch what he did to what is his name? Vitor Belfort. But how did I not remember? Yeah, look what he did to Vitor Belfort. Like he literally destroyed his will to win by grinding him, putting on a pace that he couldn't keep up with, dragging him to deep waters, and fatigue will make a coward of any man. And I think that this one is going to go in the way of Michael Chiesa. Don't get me wrong, I could be right. Like this is going to be a close fight on paper. Right, I can't believe that Michael Chiesa ever made 155 though. He's so big, because that's the other reason I'm going with Chiesa here, is because he is bigger. He's the bigger man. You watch him square up at the press conference. He was the bigger man, and that size will help him push Luque against the fence, help him to get him to the ground, and by midway of round 2, this is going to have worn away on Vicente Luque, and he's going to start accepting positions that he wouldn't otherwise, because he's starting to accept the defeat. I think that leads to a submission for Chiesa here. Chiesa has broken his opponents in more ways than one, and he gets that submission more often than not. 50% of his overall fights, he gets the submission. That means not even just his wins. 50% of all his fights, he wins by submission. That's pretty damn impressive. So you've got +6 on Chiesa by the submission. That's a great price, 5-1 in English. Don't get me wrong, this is a great fight, and I will not be surprised to see Vicente Luque get the finish. But I have to make a pick, and for me it's Chiesa in this one. I just feel like he's so good at dictating where the fight goes, and he's going to dictate where the fight goes, and he's going to find a submission probably somewhere in the 2nd or 3rd round. Either way, I'm really looking forward to that one. Then you have got the return of the king of Rio himself, Mr. Jose Aldo is coming back. He's coming back off a win. He beat Marlon Vera last time out, where he looked very impressive. And yeah, he's going up against Pedro Munoz, and yeah, this is going to be an interesting fight. I mean, the thing is, you think that Jose Aldo is well old. He's only 34. You know, TJ Dillashaw is older than Jose Aldo. That blows my mind. That blows my goddamn mind. So actually, he's a little bit younger, just I think a few weeks or whatever, than Pedro Munz, his opponent tonight. However, Aldo did start fighting 5 years earlier than Munz, and fight miles. That's a thing. That is a real thing. But look at who Aldo lost to recently: Volkanovski, Moraes. Jan, there is no shame in any of those wins. And you know what? Right now, I wouldn't say that Munz is necessarily in that elite category, but he is really good. He's at a 5, and Jose Aldo has a 5-inch reach advantage here, and you have to think that the key to victory for Munz would be to get the fight to the floor and find the submission. He does do that. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a brown belt in Judo, I might add, and that as a combination is lethal. And I do mean lethal, because if you can give a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt a really good means of getting the fight to the floor, they are a problem. And honestly, I think Munz might be a problem for Jose Aldo here. Jose Aldo's coming in as a very slight favourite. When Munz is at a reach disadvantage, he's actually quite good at closing the reach, because he had a similar disadvantage when he fought Rob Font back in 2017. I realise that's 4 years ago, but Font had a 6.5 reach advantage that night. And when they fought, Munz went in there heavy with leg kicks. Now, I don't know if you want to trade leg kicks with Jose Aldo. However, we haven't seen that many leg kicks out of him in his recent fights. I don't know what's happened to those, but he doesn't seem to throw them with the same regularity that he used to. Munz had some excellent leg kicks against Rob Font. It's what led to kind of some of the power shots he was landing. Munz has got hands, man. He hits really hard, and he's more than happy to get into a firefight. I don't know if that's the right strategy against Jose Aldo, who is equally good in a firefight. But if Jose Aldo lets Munz get in on the inside, this could be a really horrible night for him. I like Munz in this fight. He's very good at scrambles as well. When he gets into a scramble, he grabs hold of a neck or an arm, and he will rip that thing off. He will get that submission. And I like Munz here. Munz, he doesn't do too badly with a reach disadvantage. He gets inside, he lands leg kicks, body shots, lots of power. And now, as much as I like Aldo, against Vera, he did look good, but he's not the same guy that he used to be. As I said, he doesn't use those leg kicks like he used to. He's been fighting since 2004. That is a long time. I think that Munz hurts Aldo here on the feet, and then he grabs hold of a neck, and it's going to be a submission. You're getting +10 on the submission, which is 9-1 in English, which is a terrible bet, and I am all over that. I am banging that on the bet slip. And then you have got the main event of the evening. The main event of the evening for the interim heavyweight title, and it's right to be for the title as well. At the end of the day, Dana White offered that fight to Francis Ngannou 3 times, and 3 times Ngannou said that he wasn't ready or was doing. His manager sent back the offers, basically. So at a certain point, it's like, look, I know that it's only been 3 months since Ngannou won the title, but they still need to have the division, and it's UFC 265, goddammit. So I want a 265-pound title in the goddamn main event. Does that make me such a bad guy? No, I don't know, according to some of the forums maybe. But either way, we have got a really intriguing matchup here. I'll tell you what else is intriguing. Before I start this off, I noticed something at the press conference. I'll bring it up here. Take a look. That hand, the right hand he's holding the microphone with, that looked broken to you? Looks broken to me. I've broken my hand in a similar way. That knuckle is not in the right place. I think that hand might be broken. Speculation, I'm not a doctor, but I've had a similar injury in the past, so I know that knuckle doesn't necessarily look like it is in the correct place. I'm sure that won't bother a man like Derek Lewis, but worthy of note, maybe. Either way, this is a classic, isn't it? It's a classic, like, power versus technique matchup, because it's very difficult to bet on this fight. If you're taking an underdog on this card, it might as well be Derek Lewis, a man who has knocked people out with as little as 11 seconds left to go in a fight where he was clearly getting dominated, the one against Volkov. Crazy, right? He has that power right to the end, but that was a 3-round fight. That wasn't a 5-rounder. Remember that, because that's important. Now, I'm never counting Lewis out of a fight, but I'm not necessarily counting him in either, because while Lewis is very impressive and his ability to put lights out is second to none, literally second to none, he has the most knockouts in the UFC, tied, I believe. But Gunn is just technically on another level in just about every area.
The thing is with Gunn, the last couple of fights have come under some criticism because they've gone to a decision and people said he wasn't pushing to get the finish enough, but he doesn't have to. The problem is Gunn quickly makes people hesitant because of his speed. His speed seems to put a scare into people. It did against Jairzinho Rosenstruik and Volkov as well. After the first round, they both looked scared to throw because it just seemed like Gunn had such a speed advantage, he could hit them without getting hit himself. And that's a very good trait to have, especially in the heavyweight division. Now, I am not sure what Gunn's credentials are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wise, but I do know that he has as many submissions as he's got knockouts and submissions. 3 of each. So pick your poison when it comes to Cyril Gunn. And he does have a couple of impressive submissions on his record. Now, I think there's a decent chance that's where this might go. Because look, Lewis, he's not going to be in a good place after 3 rounds of kind of trying to get a hold of Cyril Gunn, swinging, not being fast enough to hit him, and just getting tired. You got to remember that Derek Lewis, he has not found one of those late knockouts any further back than round number 4, and that was the knockout of Abarakhmihov in 2016. It's a little while back now. I believe that was like a fight night main event. That was round number 4, but Lewis generally doesn't get out of the 3rd round, and respectfully, he's not really built for that, is he? You know, he does get tired. Cardio is a problem for Derek Lewis. On the flip side, we have seen Cyril Gunn just in 2021 go for 10 rounds without dropping a single round, without getting tired, almost without breaking a sweat. That man can put a pace on. He's a freak. He's just a cardio freak, right? And Derek Lewis is tough, but from a certain point, he's going to get turned into a walking punching bag here. And fatigue makes a coward of any man. I said that earlier, and it's true. Once you get tired, you start looking for ways out. And Gunn is I think he's just too slick to get knocked out early. And I think that is Lewis's only chance here. And if it goes to the later rounds, I feel like Lewis is going to fade. He's going to realise there isn't a path to victory, and he could start looking for a way out. Now, I do think that Gunn finds the finish. Cardio has just been such an issue for Lewis in the past. Gunn finds the finish over 5 rounds in this one, I think, because at a certain point he'll get overwhelmed. It'll be strikes or a submission. I don't think this goes to a decision because, I don't know, I've just got a feeling. I'm a romantic. But yeah, so I'm plus 210. Just over evens for Cyril Gunn to get the finish. So I'm taking the double chance here to cover off the chance of the submission. You could just go TKO. But as I said, Cyril Gunn does have as many submissions on his record as he does anything else. So you can't dismiss the submission. You know, if Derek Lewis gets really tired and Cyril Gunn just kind of ends up just piecing him up, and then he leaves a neck or his arm or his leg in where he shouldn't. Cyril Gunn has shown in the past he's more than capable of grabbing a hold of that and getting the submission win. Now, so that's what I'm betting on. My money is going on Cyril Gunn to get the finish. I would just like to add, though, that as a huge fan of Derek Lewis, I am going to be kind of rooting for him, because you know what? If I was to watch Derek Lewis get the knockout in Houston and win the heavyweight title, because I love Derek Lewis, he's such a brilliant fighter. The heavyweight division needs more guys like him. He is an old school brawler who knocks people flat. Who doesn't want to watch that? He's got a personality, he's funny, he's everything you want in this division, right? And I decided to bet on Cyril Gunn because I didn't want to curse Derek Lewis by betting on him. My bets really are that terrible that I feel like in my head sometimes I won't bet on fighters that I like because I don't want to curse them with my awful predictions. But I will say that if I see Derek Lewis get his hand raised by knockout in Houston for the interim heavyweight title, it would be up there for me with seeing Bisping get the belt, Robbie Lawler get the belt. And those were really some of the most magical times that I watched in MMA, where I was like, wow, I can't believe they finally did it. You know, it would be that kind of moment. And you know what? I hope that happens. You know, I only put very small stakes on this. The bets are always long. So, speaking of long, terrible bets, the 5-fold on this one is a really terrible one. It is literally 1,073.15 to 1. Woo! Woo! So that is the fivefold. That's putting all of them together. That's having Fiziev by knockout, Song Yadong by decision. You got Michael Chiesa by submission, Munoz by submission, and then Derek Lewis. What was that? I can't remember. Yeah, by submission. Then Derek Lewis, Cyril Gunn by finish, and that is, like I said, 1,073.15 to 1. And that is a terrible bet. And that is all I've got time for. Sorry, I've gone a little bit over my time because, like I said, this main event, I'm a huge fan of it. I'm very glad that they put it together. And I'll be doing a recap of all these bets on Tuesday or Wednesday, along with a recap of all the news and events and things like that. And if you like, let me know in the comments, who are you betting on tonight? I'm honestly interested to know. I love talking about this. It's why I talk into the void every week to the few people that listen. And if you do listen, I am really grateful. Thank you so much for taking the time. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe and share. You know, let some people know. If you feel like they might get a kick out of this, then let them know. You know, give them something to watch, you know, or listen to it. There are audio episodes as well. And all my social media handles are all up there. If you want to send me a message, just, you know, let me know what you think of the fights happening this weekend. But until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.